y'all been waiting for me. Welcome back. Tanya really here. Time for change, dropping gems, 6 p.m. every other Tuesday. And we had our brain break for the month of June. So you are probably like, what? We need to get back. And I ain't mad. And you missed me. I know. I was saying the views and stuff. Y'all didn't even care if I was talking to somebody else. I get it. I understand. But I wanted to let you know that I'm here and I'm going to talk to you and pick up where we left off. Last time I started part 1 of grants and contracts. And I don't know how long grants and contracts are going to be. I'm not even going to hold you. But before the grants and contracts episode, we were talking about business planning. Remember that? And so this episode, we're going to loop back to business planning. And the reason why is because I have to talk about grant writing and contract writing. So I have to loop it back. You see how all the shows is connected. All the shows are together. So if you're following along and you had your brain break and you listen about me being an entrepreneur and listen about Aladdin being an entrepreneur, you, my change agents, as we named you the last time, just kind of making sure that we have everything in order the way how it needs to be so that you psychologically could gain a grasp of understanding exactly how you should be thinking when you are writing your information and you are presenting your company and your business to other people. All right. That is something that is so hard to do. I present my company, my brand, you see, dropping gems. I just want, come on camera. I got some new gems today. Yes, just for y'all, some fresh set. And I'm here with my gem cup. And look, y'all, I bought me some AirPods. Yeah, and I got a gem encrusted out case. So yes, know me. So we gemmed out today. I want to make sure that we start back and we look at the actual planning, all right, and what it takes in the planning. So, now we about business today, all right? So let's talk about the planning, all right? So remember I was talking about the key components of business and we put it up for you alongside of me, right? We have the executive summary, the business description, the market analysis, the organizational structure, the products and services, marketing and sales strategy, financial projections and budgeting, and funding requirements, appendices, and supporting documents. It's important to know that all of those components have got to be in the grant proposal in the order and the way that they are requesting it. Okay? This is the same for contracts as well. All right? I'm here to give you the clinician's perspective of business. So I'm going to give you the clinician's perspective of writing. All right? When you are writing, you have to make sure that you have all of your ducks in a row and that you're presenting in such a way that is in that strategic order that I just mentioned. Considering your executive summary, right? And as you can see, I don't have no notebook. I just have my computer. But I usually have my little notes. Nah, I'm going to talk to you straight today. And the reason why is because it can get a little bit confusing if you're not paying attention precisely to how and what order or how you're supposed to present. When you're considering an executive summary it covers everything, right, that is about your company. So remember when we was talking about business planning, I was like dream big and like talk about all of those things. Like this is the opportunity to dream big. Your executive summary is not the dream, but it's the reality. Okay? So it's not the dream, it's the reality. So I knew the reality of my situation in 2020 was not, I didn't have a school yet, right? So my executive summary, I wasn't going to pitch that I have a school. I wasn't going to pitch that I had health care. I wasn't going to pitch that I had any of those things that I have now, right? But what's important is whatever that present world is when you're writing, is presented in your executive summary, along with the staff, along with the people who you are going to talk about. Okay? So something to think about. I don't know if you looked me up. I don't know. I don't care if you have or you haven't, but you watching my show, so you must think I know something. But when you look me up and you look at my info and my bio and all of that stuff, I'm using that in my executive summary. I am a clinician, right, who knows business, but I'm a clinician who owns a healthcare school. A healthcare school that does not have anything to do with my trade. I am a vocational rehabilitation counselor by trade. It's important for me to pitch that, right? Because I am unique, elite, and different from the rest. And because I'm elite, unique, and different from the rest, it's so important for me to palette that and to create in writing how great I really am. It's so important for you to be unique, elite, and different from the rest. You are now a change agent, and you hanging around me and you dropping gems left and right to other people now because I done told you how to do certain things. So I need you to consider thinking about what makes you unique, elite, and different from the rest, but also what makes you present. Okay? Yeah, I'm here. I'm serious as a mug today, but I want you to know because I got all this business going on, but business is not easy. Business is not easy, okay? You have to pay attention to where you are now, and you have to be able to write. You do have the AI, you got ChatGPT, all of these little Gemini, this. You have all of that. But when you present yourself and when you present yourself before people and you present yourself in an interview, you have to be able to articulate that I am the only clinician that is a vocational rehab counselor that owns a healthcare institution in Ward 8. I am the only one. When I write that, the eyeballs go like this. Let's listen, right? Let's read some more. Let's read some more. Oh, and she's licensed, right? So think about that and think about what makes you unique, elite, and different from the rest. When I talk about my MD that works for me, it's things about her that makes her unique, elite, and different from the rest. That's why she works for Time for Change. When I interview people, I ask them what makes them unique, elite, and different from the rest. Because every single person that works for me brings something to my company, right? But it's also important for me to listen because they're giving me content to write. If my staff are great, my writing will be great, my presentation will be great, and all the things that I'm up to doing will be great. But you have to be able to present the things one at a time. You have to present the things one at a time. That is unique to the presentation of what you're trying to write to. Y'all following me? All right. Water. Oh, excuse me. All right. So, it's going to be very important for you to understand, even if you're a business of one, what does that business of one look like? How unique is it? What services can you provide? Don't lie to them people. Tell them the capacity of what you can do. Remember, the business planning is for dreaming when we're searching for funding and we're going to the banks. Grants and contracts need to know the fundamentals of what you can do, but you're going to pitch it well. You might be the only person that owns the transportation company. How many vehicles do you have? What makes you unique and elite? What was your history about that? What made you start a transportation company? Were you great at it? Did your dad used to do transportation? How is that connected to your business? How does your business stand out? Sometimes getting personable is not a bad thing. Now, I protect my brother. I protect my brother with my whole life. I still do. My company was rededicated to my brother and homelessness in 2017. Well, no, 2018, right? So I had to digest what my mission really was and what it might change to. It wasn't that it wasn't the same thing, because it's still the same. It's to eradicate crime and homelessness by way of employment. But back then it was to eradicate homelessness by way of employment. My mission increased, my executive summary increased, because I am now a trauma-informed clinician. Right? So I've grown up in the area and all of that stuff, but that's not what makes me trauma informed. I was raised very well by my mother and my father. What makes me trauma informed is that I had experienced trauma that other people haven't experienced, and it made me take my book knowledge and it made me better at supporting specific people who suffer from crime evasion in a different and unique way. Specific people that suffer from trauma in a unique way. I was trauma-informed, domestic violence, right? When I work with an individual who's been through domestic violence, sexual abuse, mental abuse, or anything, I channel being the best clinician that I could be because I am a trauma-informed clinician. These are things that I'm just versed in saying, not because it's my history, but because I write it over and over and over again. It is the process of grant writing to make sure that your grant is catered to whatever the funder is asking for. We talked about that, right? I'm turning up on you today. If you don't realize how many gems I just dropped just right there, just off me not even looking at the computer and not having no notes and just coming off break, I'm like, we don't break, y'all. We don't break. They want me. They want me to come back. Here I am. But I'm dropping them gems because you need to pay attention, because it's the psychological perspectives that makes me good at teaching and telling you what you need to do. The executive summary is what makes you unique, elite, and different from the rest. Make sure you write that down. That's my trade. I tell people that all the time. My institution is unique, elite, and different from the rest. So don't be stealing my stuff. It's patent. All right? How about this? And we'll get into patency too. So we talked about the executive summary. That's about the person. That's about the mission. That's about the objectives. That's about the why, right? When you have your business description, that's just about everything else. The industry details, the products that you might offer, right? So you need a core, you need a mission. I don't care if you have a for-profit or non-profit. Everybody started a business for a reason. That reason should be the pinnacle and the core of your proposal. It should be the start. You ain't just pick up a camera because you picked up a camera. Right? You ain't just do that. You ain't just start doing hair just because you start doing hair. Your mother used to have you in the hair salon. Just like Beyonce. She ain't just started a hairline just because. She started a hairline because she had purpose. Her businesses are for profit. She ain't just started whiskey line. She said, I'm from Texas. I'm coming out with a country album. It don't matter if it's a product or if it's a service or if it's whatever. Everybody has a core. I cannot stress to you that that is the most important thing that you're going to write and dig through. If you don't know your core, if you don't know it, take some time and really think about it, because that's going to help you write. Okay? Business description is all the rest of the stuff. Market analysis, we talked about that. What's going on around in your area? Because what they're doing is not what you're doing. But you got to make sure of that. You don't want to write the same thing that somebody else is writing. You want to be unique, elite, and different from the rest. So you got to take a survey of the market and identify what it is that you really, really, really offer uniquely. You know you got competitors. Everybody got competitors. All right? Who cares? Organizational structure. So what does your leadership look like? What does your management look like? Team and your roles. Take the time out to even do an organizational chart in Microsoft Word and just see how your organizational chart is going to look. It's so important for you to just dream before you write the specifics, because if you dream before you write the specifics, then you'll have the details that you need. Okay? That's why I was talking about dreaming at first, because the dreaming is for the banks. The dreaming is for, let me scale this out. Let me make this look so magical and so beautiful. But then when you are writing for grants, you want them to give you the money, but it's a different audience. It's a different audience. It's not the same. Okay? Products and services, of course, you're going to list those because you're already talking about it in your executive summary. Marketing and sales strategy, of course, if you have some certain marketing and sales strategy that you were, I don't know, something that uniquely fits your business. If you're selling makeup, or if you're selling, I don't know, services, a camera, taking pictures or photography or whatever it is that you're selling, sell it and sell it well, but make sure that you have a price next to it. Now, financial projections is in grant writing. Financial projections is just, it's not what it would be when you write a bank proposal for funding, because you're dreaming. So grants are more so on how well do you manage the current funds that you have now. I know we're gonna get to all of the accounting stuff. How well do you manage your funds now? What funds do you have? What is your budget now? Okay? What is your budget now? What does your budget look like? How much do you spend on this? How much do you spend on that? Because you try and pitch to them, this is what I do. And then sometimes creative writers, they will put, this is how much, this is what I do. But if I had this 50,000, or if I had this 10 grand, then this is what my budget will look like. Because I will utilize these funds for this and that and this and that. Y'all writing this down? Because this loaded. It's so loaded. The first day back and we loaded. So I just hope you writing this down. Budgeting, remember, financial projections is for the banks. When you want to write out your budgeting for grants, it's I need. This is what it needs to look like. And then if I had this is what it would look like. So it's kind of like you pitching it, but you also shaping it. I like that. Jim, I like that. You pitching it and you also shaping it. Okay? Pitching and shaping. It's two different things. Shaping is making it, the vision come true with the money that they are saying that you're going to have. Now, if you want to pay for consulting, I swear I will sit down with you. We will talk about grants. I will help you write your first grant, whatever the case may be. If you want to do that, that's a service that Time for Change Consulting provides. But right now, I'm dropping gems. So when I drop gems, I drop them fast. And you got to keep up so that way you could do your work. So I hope that you've been doing your work and you was doing it. I hope that you've been doing it. All right. So funding requirements are not really applicable all the time in grants, at contract writing, they will give you that language if you're reading correctly to pull from the grant or the contract to shape it for your company. But when it comes down to supporting documentation, all of those licensings, legal fees, and additional references that we were talking about when it came down to the bank and all of that stuff, those are what you will put behind the grant as proof of support. So you will Appendix A, supporting documentation, resumes, licensing, business license, Appendix B, okay? That could be whatever they might ask for. They're going to list them. They're going to list them on there. Appendix B, what you going to put. Appendix C, what you going to put. The biggest thing, too, is about formatting. Grant writing is all about formatting. Contracts are all about formatting. If they are telling you A is business description, B is executive summary, your table of contents needs to have A is business description, B is executive summary. I'm giving you the contents and the components of what you need, right? Contents and components of what you need. Grants and contracts do like this sometimes. Again, the psychological stuff that they do to trip you up is unmatched. It's unmatched. And no, it's not the person that's on the other side of the grant, like the grant manager or any of that. These grants are written for years to come, revised, and you got the lawyers and the legal people and this. They don't mean to make it cumbersome. They don't mean to switch it up. They don't mean to mess up your flow. They mean for you to pay attention. Jim, they mean for you to pay attention. That's it. So whatever order that they're telling you to write in, you need to write in. But I cut yourself and bleed this. The components of what I'm telling you is going to be the same. So when this is what is helpful, because when I write grants, I'm not writing from scratch. What? No more. I've been in business for 9 years, about to be 10. When them grants come to me and I got them components, and they say it gotta be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 7, 2, 5, 4, 3, 1. Guess what? I take my grant, bloop, 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 because I already got it. I'm trying to get you ready. I'm trying to get you having the content just there so you could get what you need to get done. And working smarter, not harder. I know you heard that before. Come on, change agent. I know you heard that before. Smarter, not harder. All right? So the components that I'm telling you about, they could be all over the place. But as long as you have them, you could bloop, bloop, right to this one. Bloop, bloop, right to that one. Bloop, bloop, right to this one. Bloop, bloop, right to that one. Let me revise this one. And now you got AI. Once you get the content, it's going to take a while to write the first one. It is. It's going to take a while. That's okay. You're going to write it all out. And then after that, cater to this. Bloop, cater to that. Bloop, cater to this. Bloop, cater to that. I'm just trying to give you the clinician's perspective of business. As it relates to grant writing, I cannot answer your DMs. I cannot meet with you. I'm so busy. If you want to meet with me, you have to pay. I am doing these shows and these segments and these series because I do want to help. I do want to give a service for free. I am dropping gems for you. But you have to catch them. It has to be your time for change. You have to sit down and you have to really strategically look at what you're doing Go back to show 2 when we talked about focus. Because if you're thrown off because we had a brain break, please circle back and know that the best is yet to come. Because as we keep on going, you will be educated enough about your company, your business, and about what you're going to do moving forward. And that's what this is about. And then as you get versed in what is in these contents, in these documents, you're going to be able to articulate in such a way that nobody could tell you anything about your business. You know how many people try to tell me stuff about time for change? And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Or tell me about what I'm doing. Yeah, no, you can't. Because I follow process. I follow procedures. I would like to thank you for coming past Droppin' Gems. First show back, right at the top of July. We in the heat. I want to thank you so much for your time. Catch us at Time for Change Consult on YouTube. Droppin' Gems, 6 p.m. every other Tuesday. We had our brain break. Now I'm taking you to another level. Let's go. Have a good day.